An error occurred. Wait a minute. Welcome. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is going to be episode 84, and it's just going to be me. So, ah, I wanted to hop on just because it's week one. Week one is down, and I wanted to just kind of talk about like a whole bunch of stuff, really. And as it comes to my head, we'll kind of go over it. And I want you guys to let me know what you guys want me to cover as I continue on this path. It's definitely so I want to start off with number one. Everybody keeps saying, and I've heard this, and listen, I know disclaimer, I know this is week one, but I hear a lot about, oh, the duty's so different. Besides Genesis and besides um all this, all the medical portion of it, it's not different at all. The and everyone says, "Oh, the generation's different." Um, they're the same. I definitely understand where people are coming from when they're saying like, "Oh, you know, um, they're a lot more closed off, or COVID kind of changed people." Listen, there's one thing that all of these young men and women are missing, and it's people that care. They're missing interaction, and you can see as you speak to them, and clearly if this changes, I'll definitely say that. But my first week back, um I really don't see that much of a difference. And I was told by many people that you're not going to be able to be the same Benny out there on the streets. Everybody said, "Oh, that Staff Sergeant Bennett's not going to work." Guess what? I did the same thing. Um, and I will be real. I did have a bunch of no shows my first week. Um, but I did manage to get an NWA my first week, and then I'm not gonna say that was due to me. It was actually due to well, actually, if you think about it, it was due to me, right? Because I used the CDR program. A Marine that I know out in my community was like, saw another, saw a person who he thought would be a great Marine, and then he sent me over the referral, right? So my years of being within New Jersey and meeting people and knowing people, um, brought me a kid, and now that young man is gonna become an NWA on Monday, and then he's gonna all his docs. But you know part of what I wanted to talk about though was I feel like a huge part of the problem is that people aren't as I don't want to say hungry, right? Because I can't really decide how hungry somebody is, right? But I would say that people aren't like I've heard in the past week. Um, oh, I told the kid to follow up with me in 2 weeks. I told the kid to follow up with me in a week. Um, from what I understand, is in today's Marine Corps recruiting, the average C to C chain is like 40 days, right? So if the C to C chain is already 40 days, and we know that from the jump, then someone said they're not hungry. New Jersey in the house. Who is it? Who is it? Who is for so hey, if you're commenting, it just says Facebook user. So tell me who you are. But so listen, what I see, right, and this is not just RS that I'm at right now. This is across MICRIC, from the people that I talk to. You cannot you're not gonna lose what you don't have, and that's something that was taught to me when I was on my first tour. I don't remember, and it was just taught to us, right, by Master Gunnery Sergeant Patriakis, by Master Sergeant O'Brien. Like, that's just the eagerness and the hungriness and the, "Hey, go home and get your docs right now. Hey, go home, come back right now. Oh, your mom's not about it? Cool, put mom on the phone right now. Oh, you can't meet tomorrow? Cool, what are you doing today?" But this idea of I told the kid to follow up with me in 2 weeks, Bro, we don't have 2 weeks, right? And if you're giving this kid 2 weeks, right, boy or girl, um, now what's gonna happen, the mindset is not the same. Hey, I would love again, it doesn't say who it is, but I agree. 100%, I agree. Chasing docs, getting kids in the office. "Oh, my mom said this," or, "Oh, Tuesday or Thursday," or whatever. Dude, if you know that Genesis is going to cause all this uproar and it's going to add longer times to the C2C chain, then we need to minimize the C2C chain as soon as possible. And we need to get kids in immediately, right? I set an appointment for Friday at 7 p.m. Somebody said to me, a friend of mine out there in the world, was like, Friday at 7 o'clock? What are you talking about? Bro, if the kid can only meet Friday at 7 o'clock, well, guess what? That's when I'm going to meet him, right? If the kid is telling me, the young man or woman is telling me that, hey, mom and dad want to be there, I'm going to encourage that right off the bat. Okay, awesome. Let's go. Get mom and dad in the house, get mom and dad in the office. Let's go. Why? Because they're going to be an influencer regardless, right? So either going to be a positive or a negative. So what do I need to do? I need to get them on my side immediately, right? And again, this isn't about like being deceiving. And I think that's a huge part of what's going on is that people have this idea that like if you're a good recruiter, you have to be deceptive. No. Like if you know me as a recruiter, as a station commander, as a person, like I'm Benny in all shapes or form. Like, and I use that when I'm ACing. No accountability. Recruiters are in control of the seats. Bro, listen, I there's a huge lack of accountability, which was brought up yesterday by I don't know his rank. I really didn't get a chance to talk to him, but yesterday at the All Hands there was a class, and the guy who did the class, he was a station commander from one of the offices, and he brought up lack of accountability. And he was talking about it on all ends, right? The recruiter, the station commander, because there is, right? And even just been in the office itself, right? If you walk into an office and recruiters don't have haircuts, it starts there. If you walk into an office and recruiters' uniforms are dirty, it starts there. If you walk into an office and the office is full of trash or the office isn't kept up, right? Everything starts there. And that's why I wanted to talk about like the mental attitude of things, right? Because a lot of people are defeated. A lot of people are already in this mindset of, oh, we failed, so we're going to continue to fail. Um, Someone just said you're back in an RS. Yes, I am back at RS New Jersey. I am part of RSS Tom's River. Started this week. I am a canvassing recruiter. Well, actually, I'm a rec aide until my package gets pushed forward. But listen, that's what I'm saying, right? And again, this is everywhere I've been, right? This is everything that I've heard from people, right? And the reason why I wanted to come back out here is because of all the horrible things I heard about it. And I was like, okay, well, is it really that bad or is it the mentality? And and that's what it is, right? Is I think a lot of it is due to the mentality, is to the mentality of like, okay, you know what, we've been feeling for the past couple of years, and you know what, now this is a new thing. And now, mind you, again, I'm not saying that one RSS or one RS or whatever. I'm not saying that you're not working hard because I don't know you. I'm not watching you, right? But what I am saying is that you can tell when an office is struggling, right? And then you start to look at like telltale signs, right? And that's something that I wanted to talk about because a lot of it is just simply based off of it's the mentality, no sense of urgency. 100%. Everybody has this idea that, oh, well, this medical process is going to take this long because of this. Or, even with like the precedence of shipping, right? I sat down the other day on Friday with my first NWA, right? I told the kid over the phone, He was like, "Hey, I'm interested in becoming a Marine." So guess what I told him? "Hey, you're a graduate. You're going to bring in all of your vital documentation, and we're going to get you to ship immediately." Why would I not tell him that? So when I sat down with him, and mom and dad's immediate questions were, "How quick can this happen?" I was real with them, right? We were me and the station commander were real with them. It could realistically be as early as May 15th, right? Now, is that realistic? Well, we don't know. We don't know because of the medical process. We don't know. And you tell them that, right? Because a huge part of it, and I noticed this week, right? When we did have a kid commit, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you went too hard on him, blase, blase." And then I explained to the young man why I went too hard on him, right? So a lot of times people don't understand that it's not about how hard you're going on a kid once he commits. It's about them understanding why you're trying to get them to commit, right? And also getting them to understand, what does commitment mean, and what does me saying I want to be a Marine, what does that mean? Okay. And that's the problem, is that we don't express that. Okay, hey, number one, if you say I want to be a Marine, that does not mean you're leaving for boot camp tomorrow, bro. There's a whole bunch of stuff that has to happen between now and then. And you explain to them why we have a sense of urgency. The problem that you have is a lot of, excuse me, I'm drinking a lot of water. A big problem that you have is that a lot of people, a lot of recruiters in today's world are afraid to lose what they don't have. So when a kid commits, "Oh, I'll follow up with you tomorrow. Oh, we'll bring the docs in on this day. Oh, we'll do the paperwork on this day." No, you got to get everything done as soon as possible. Prospect with a purpose, need an interview, not an appointment, must find the true need. Exactly, right? I'm only going to assume this is Master Gunnery Sergeant Patriarchus. Prospect with a purpose, need an interview, not an appointment, must find the true need. Exactly. The problem is that everyone's out there looking for appointments. I need 2 appointments for tomorrow. I need 3 appointments for tomorrow. Oh, well, did you set the appointment? Yeah, but he hasn't answered all day long. Oh, well, it's still an appointment for tomorrow. Is it? Yes. But should I go home feeling like that's warm and fuzzy? Hell no. Should I go home knowing that I'm probably going to have a no show tomorrow? Probably not. And that's the thing about it, right? Is that we need to have a sense of purpose. And when we're driven by purpose, people see that. When we walk into the office and we're ready to go, and the moment we get in the office, we're making calls and we're hitting people up and we're going left and right and we're going up and down and we're making things happen and we're living with a purpose, very different. Ivaldo Tovar Ponce. There's an 11th grader's parents coming to me saying that his son suddenly wants to join the Marine Corps. As a Marine from active duty and now reservist, what should I be telling them about the Marine Corps? You should be telling them everything. Tell them to be real with them, right? People are afraid to be real, right? So, as a Marine from active duty and now a reservist, you tell them everything. Tell them everything. Tell them the good, the bad, the ugly. But don't make sure that you're telling them from the God's honest truth, right? Everybody likes to tell people the bad stuff, but they don't like to tell them the reality of, like, when it was our fault, right? Tell them what they're getting themselves into. And I, as a recruiter, I say this to people all the time. I'm like, listen, man, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that Marine Corps boot camp is amazing. I'm not going to tell you that the Marine Corps is always a great time. No, I'm going to be real with you. Why? Because when you join the Marine Corps, you become a Marine. If I lied to you and you get out to the Fleet Marine Corps, or you even get to boot camp and then you do it, and you back out, now I have to find you again. I'm causing my own pain later on in life. Me getting a quick shipper that never needed the ship is only causing me more strife in the future, and that's what people don't understand. Be real. Have a real conversation with people. Station commanders can't be scared to call in 0 appointments. Must be in charge of exactly, exactly. As long as you can have an understanding and explain to the operations, hey, this is what was going on. And also, the problem that you have too is that, like, you have Marines that are out there who really are giving an honest day's work, right? So this is where things get fucked up. Is you have a Marine, let's say Sergeant Sergeant Z, we'll call him. So Sergeant Z goes out and he's out there, right? He makes his phone calls, he makes his area canvassing, and he's out there and he's really freaking busy, right? And he puts in an honest day's work. But you know what? He doesn't have an appointment for tomorrow. But we know that he legitimately, we were out there with him, we were helping him, we were doing everything possible. Now that Marine stays at the office until whatever time. For what reason? Because now tomorrow that Marine's not going to continue to put in that effort because in his mind he's like, oh well, I'm going to be here all day tomorrow. Anyways, recruiting duty is the bane of my existence and the worst thing I ever did. Oh, well, I would love to know why. And this is like a comment like that. I don't know your situation. I don't know. One, I feel horrible for you. If that really is the case, if that is how you felt from your command standpoint, I do feel horrible for you. So I do apologize. Or if maybe it was you who did it to yourself, because that's a huge part of it. Um, but listen, everything is a huge part. I can't say everything is right. That'd be hypocritical. But listen, in my opinion, right? Again, this is opinion based. I'm not an 8412. I am not the end all be all. This is again all of my opinion. A huge part of why Marine Corps recruiting duty sucks is because your attitude sucks. If you walk into the office and you hate your day, you're going to have a horrible day. You're not going to be good on the phones because people feel that. People feel that as soon as you get on the phone. Oh, yeah, what's going on? If you're not in it to win it, you're going to lose. In your interview, if you're not ready for that interview and you're not paying attention to that interview, you're going to lose. If you are not going through the process of all of it in it to win it, you're going to lose. If you're not eagerly out there area canvassing, you're going to lose. If you're not going from one conversation to the next, you're going to lose. The problem that people have is that they allow a no to fester within them the rest of the day. Bro, this kid didn't commit. You had a freaking phenomenal interview. You did everything you could. And you know what? You found this priority need. You got him all into it, everything. And guess what? The kid didn't commit. Okay. Follow up with him. Have a good follow up plan. Move on to the next person. Move on. Do not wallow in self pity. Get over it and make it happen. COVID, divorce, loss of time with children, just not me, to be honest. Yo, listen, I would love to have a conversation. I would love to have you on the podcast so we could talk about, if you're open to it, love to have you on really to Joshua David said, COVID, divorce, loss of time with children, and just not me, to be honest. Would love to have you on so we could discuss further, what people can do if they're in those shoes, right? Because here's the thing. If you're listening right now and you've had a shit experience, I don't want other people to fail if we can talk about how we can fix it. Agree with the commitment issue. Kids sucked. See, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Agree with the commitment issue. Kids suck. I'm going to say this, and I mean this all due respect because I don't know you. Half the time, everybody says the kid sucks. Why don't you have an appointment for tomorrow? The kid sucks. Why'd that kid no show? The kid sucks. Maybe, just maybe, it's you. Maybe you can't get a strong commitment, right? And I'll tell you this story, right? So the other day, I don't know what day of the week it was, but we went out. Me and one of the staff members from the office, and we went out. And we were area canvassing the mall, and we freaking hit it. We hit it, right? We talked to this kid, Keith, and Keith was sitting there with his girl, and I was getting the girl into the conversation. I was getting him into the conversation. I was finding out his priority needs. I was finding out his plan, and here I am. I'm going through it, right? I'm building rapport. I'm exploring. I'm enabling, and boom, I'm gaining commitment to get the appointment, right? And all of these great things happen, right? And the recruiter, I was assisting the recruiter. I guess the recruiter didn't think to check the phone number. It was the wrong phone number, right? But then the kid agreed for an appointment. The following day, right? The kid tried to get no, I'm sorry, not the following day. The same night, when we get back to the office, he's solidifying his appointments for tomorrow with the station commander. And the kid, we find out it's a wrong phone number, right? So immediately the recruiter's like, wait a minute, I'm going to check the system because I'm putting in my pack cards, and I'm going to see if maybe someone's a house phone or a cell phone number is there. Boom. Get mom on the phone. Tell mom the situation. We tell mom that, oh, mom, you know what? We set an appointment with your son. He's supposed to be coming in tomorrow. Mom's like, oh, really? So mom says, you know what? I'm going to bring the son in. We'll be there at 3:30. Okay. Following day, 3:30 comes around. Haven't heard from the kid. Haven't heard from the mom. So we call the mom. Hey, mom, how's everything going? What's going on? And we find out from the mother. Now she's like, well, I spoke to Keith and he's really not interested. And he said that you guys were very informative and just right now he's not about it. So I don't want to push him and all this. So why do I bring this up? I bring this up because now I'm trying to get mom to buy in. I'm trying to get mom on my side. But the problem is that mom is too afraid to tell her son, hey, be a man of your word. You set an appointment, get your ass in that office. Okay. So we blame these kids, but it's not the kids, it's the parents. So what do these kids need? These kids need you as a recruiter, as a man or woman, to stand the frick up as a Marine and make them be accountable to themselves. Hold these young men and women accountable. They don't show up for an appointment. I'm not saying go find them, like go find them. No. When you see them again, hey man, what happened with that, bro? Same thing. Kid gave me his word, shook my hand, told me I'm Filipino, we don't lie, no showed me. Guess what? The next day, I went to the store in the mall. I was buying a pair of shoes, and I was like, "Hey," and I didn't even bring up the kid. Didn't even bring him up, but he was standing in the back room hiding from us. So what do? I tell his manager, "Hey, just so you know, man, your employee isn't a man of his word. Your employee said, 'Hey, we're going to do this. We're going to make this happen.' Didn't do it." Guess what happened? The young man came out into the mall, came out into the store, and apologized to me to my face. And I looked at him and I said, "Listen, man, you are a grown ass man, and you told another man that you were going to be somewhere, and you weren't there." I was like, I don't care about the fact that you're going to become a Marine or you're not going to become a Marine, but I do care about the fact that you are or are not going to be a man of your word. But that's what I'm saying. You have to hold these kids accountable. When you sit down with an appointment, hold them accountable. When you sit down with an applicant, hold them accountable. Hold them accountable from the moment they become an applicant. Because if you switch shit up when they become a poolee, that's how you get a discharge. It starts with context. That's how you prove effort. Train the recruiter to be effective. Volume doesn't work. Oh, listen, I'm pretty sure this is Master Guns talking. Master Guns, we need to have a conversation about that because I 100% wholeheartedly agree. Volume does not work. It's freaking madness. It is insanity. Why walk into the office and at 8 a.m. start making cold calls? Somebody explain this to me. Why walk into an office and start making cold calls at 8 a.m.? No, go through your pack cards, go through your hot leads, your warm leads, go through the people that you have already. Yep, this is Master Guns. Tom's River was my first RSS in 2004. It's ridiculous. But no. So why are you making cold calls at 08 in the morning? Call people you've already spoken to, call old interviews, call your NWA log, call people that haven't come back in the office. Stop making cold calls at 08 in the morning. Get yourself fresh, get yourself on the phone, make contacts so that before you even leave the office, you've already had and made contact with people. Stop just making phone calls to make phone calls. Like a Marine who's on for 8,700 TCs. Okay, let's just make phone calls all day. And yes, you did create those numbers. Not all of them sucked. Some would commit, then no show. Maybe it was something I did. Maybe it was something I did. But where I was, kids thought they had a better plan of staying local in a tiny town. But you're stronger than me. I would never want to do a second tour. Here's the thing, man. I'm not stronger than you. We're just different people, right? You're stronger than me in a different area, maybe, right? So I would never say we're not stronger than one another, right? Here's the thing, man, and I'm glad that you bring that up. Oh, I had a kid commit and he no showed. Guess what? He wasn't committed. You can't have what you never had. And that's why you have to go hard. There's recruiters, right, who allow someone. I learned this from Master Guns because I did it to him. I did it to Sergeant Tice. Sergeant Tice said, "Hey, do you want to be a Marine?" And I said, "Yeah." And Master Gun said, "What the hell did you just say?" And a whole lot more expletives. And then immediately I changed my tone of voice and I said, "Yes, sir." Guess what? I still do in every single one of my interviews. If a young man or woman says, "Yeah," I immediately correct them. Why? Because it starts right there. Their challenge, the commitment, the pride of belonging, everything that they are asking for in those benefit tags starts in the interview. You have to hold them accountable from the interview. In the interview, start picking apart their plan. Actually, when you first make contact, when you're building rapport and you're asking them about the future and you're asking them and you're exploring and you're learning about the plan, you have to be able to pull apart their plan and then help them rebuild it. Be respectful. Don't be a scumbag. But say that, like, listen, you know what, man? Because a lot of people have this thing and it kills me. There's two things that kill me on recruiting duty. When these two things, when I hear them, I freaking yes, Gunnery Sergeant Tice retired last month. Amen. Two things that kill me that I hear on recruiting duty. One is, hey man, from a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about becoming a Marine? Bro, stop. Stop. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where. If you do that, I promise you, you booty. If you do that, if you do, oh, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, bro, if you do that, you're booty cheeks. I don't care who you are. I'm just saying you're not good. Why? Because that's some. Yeah, I'm trying to not curse as much. That's just some baby back bullshit, right? Bro, go in. Go in. What does the volume say? The most aggressive commitment possible. Be aggressive. Like the cheerleaders. Be aggressive. I don't know why people suddenly have this idea that you cannot be aggressive anymore. That is what's lacking. That's what these young men and women need. They need you to be aggressive. Appreciate the no. Yo, Master Guns, I cannot wait until you retire and you're ready to hop on here, because we got to talk a lot more, right? But somebody, I think it was you, but I'm pretty sure you were the one that said the interview doesn't start until the first no. Right? And yeah, respect the no, right? Appreciate the no. Because a lot of times though, right, we have these young men and women, right? This happened this past week in this past interview. And someone picked courage, poison, self-confidence, and they were talking about how they didn't have it. And it's something I will always address when this comes up is I will always look at them and say, listen, you're saying you don't have this, right? And they'll be like, no, I don't have it. And then I'll immediately look at them and say, you do. It's inside of you, just don't know it. And they'll say, what do you mean? And then you say, or I say, you just told a grown man that you've never met until today or till yesterday that you don't have confidence. That right there, in and of itself, is confident because you did not have to say that. You did not have to. Number one, walking in this office took confidence. Number two, you sitting across from me and talking about it. The interview starts when the prospect says no. Woo! Yo, that's it right there, right? But the problem is that people immediately are like, oh, well, the kid said no. No, 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 no. Okay, hey, man, why? Well, why? Tell me more. Why do you feel that way? Oh, well, blah, blah, blah. Bro, too many people. And this is what I used all week, right? And I've been using it forever. It works for me. So if you want to use it, make sure you use what works for you, right? And don't, and I witnessed this. If you don't know how to say something, practice it before you say it. But something that I always say when people tell me no is I always ask them, and I'm going to close with this. I always ask them, hey, listen, do you find yourself to be an educated person? They're gonna say yes, or they'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I like to think so." So then I'm saying, "Okay, so you're educated," and then they're gonna be like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." I'm like, okay, so let me ask you a question. How much do you know about the Marine Corps? They're gonna say anywhere from 0 to 5%, maybe 10%. So then I'll take the 10 or the 5 or the 2. But okay, so you're saying that you know 10% about the Marine Corps? Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this question, brother. You ready? Would you ever make a decision based off of 10% of 10% of the information? Oh, hell no, that's dumb. Why would I do that? And they always say that. They're like, no. They give you that look, and they're like, no, I wouldn't do that. Why would I do that? And then I look at them and I'm like, okay, so then why did you just do that to me? Right now, you are telling me, you just told me you only know about 10% of the information about the Marine Corps. And right now, you're immediately telling me that you are not interested in the Marine Corps. Well, how do you know that? What do you know? Based off of what factual information are you making this decision? And then that's when I start to peel back the onion. I start to continue. Well, I'm continuing to build a rapport. I'm continuing to explore. Continue. Now I'm starting to enable because I'm enabling with what? With everything that with everything that I've learned in the build rapport and everything. And build rapport is what? Ongoing, right? So if I'm building rapport correctly and I'm exploring correctly, well, then I can enable correctly. And that's the problem. People can't enable because they're not asking the right questions and they're not getting the right information. Anything prior to that is all intel you need to overcome the no. Exactly, right? And this is why people are have an issue. Like if you're not writing notes down, or if you're not using like the Franklin T close, or if you're not using something to write down what they're saying, like I like doing that, right? So I'll put a T on the left hand side, I'll put Mr. last name. On the right hand side, I'll put Sergeant last name. And as I'm going through the interview, I will write down key things that they say so that when I bring it up, I can say, "Hey, you said this. You said that." And then when they say, "Oh, I didn't say that," I can say, "Bro, I wrote it down." Because now I'm able to use what they're telling me and I'm able to use it to overcome the no. Hey, you told me that it was important for you to gain this because of this. Hey, you told me that this meant this to you and that in order to get this, you needed this. Right? That's what you said. You told me that success is this. Okay. Well, now how do we get you to success? This whole week, asked multiple people, hey, what is your vision of success? They all gave me the same answer. Then when I said, okay, well, how are you going to achieve success? They all gave me the same answer: college, job, money. That was the answer: college, job, money. So, and I was like, so it's that easy. Yeah. Okay, well, now what do? We have to break that down and then build them back up. We have to go over their plan. We have to understand, like, hey, and the thing is that a lot of times people get mad at these quote unquote kids, and we call these quote unquote kids bitches. Bro, you were a kid too. You thought everything you knew was everything you knew. You thought it was all right. No, until you break down what the future looks like with that plan, and you also make them realize that what they're telling you is not a plan, that's what you have to do. Recruiters are good with having interviews these days to prove they're working. They're in this. Oh my God. Master Guns, you are clearly with 30 years of experience about to retire. I would hope you are spot on. But yes, recruiters are good with having interviews these days to prove that they are working. They're in survival mode. Exactly. But again, if I have all these interviews and no contracts, if I have all these interviews and I'm not obtaining docs, and I'm not creating NWAs, and I'm not sending kids to MEPS, what am I doing then? Right? Where is the results? And that's why it's ridiculous that there's so much pushed on the volume, volume, volume. Oh, hey, we didn't make missions, so let's make sure we push volume so at least it looks like we're working. Or, oh, let's make sure we have a whole bunch of interviews. Oh, so it makes it look like we're working. No, just have integrity, make the shit work, and have people believe in you. Believe, like, trust. A huge part of the problem is people no longer trust people. Scared to push to get a commitment. 100%. 100%. People are afraid to lose what they don't have. People are afraid to go too hard on a kid. People are afraid to, like, I had a kid walk in the office with his dad, and I was all in this kid's face. I promise you. I was all in this kid's face, and I was going at it. It was my first interview back. And the dad was kind of looking at me. And I looked at the father because I noticed that he was looking at me, and I said, "Sir," I was like, you asked me earlier what was the difference between the Army and the Marine Corps. Your son tested with the Army and then you never heard back. Why? Because they get points for just testing kids, being real with them. Sir, do you want me to be fake with your son, or do you want me to show your son what he's going to receive on the other end in the Marine Corps? It all starts in the interview. It starts from the moment you freaking contact the kid. From the moment you contact a young man or woman, you have to be real, because you can't change overnight, because that's how people discharge. You have to give them the same way regardless, right? And that's it. My biggest thing is just listen, positive mental attitude. People say, "Oh, it doesn't work." Bullshit. There's a very big difference between a Marine who walks in on Monday morning with a fresh haircut, clean uniforms, a positive attitude, and ready to rock. There is a very different mentality. The other Marine who walks in, who's been beaten and bruised all month long, who doesn't have a haircut, who doesn't have clean uniforms, is going to be, they're going to reap what they sow. Pick one. Are you going to be successful, or are you going to be lackadaisical and not make it off this duty? And then the problem that you also have is that you have new recruiters checking in and they're watching people be happy over one. You're watching people get awards for three. You're watching people get awards for one. You're watching people get awards for writing two seniors. People are getting rewarded for doing something that is their job. If a recruiter writes two, it's like, oh my God, what did you do? It's insanity to me. It is insanity to me. What happened to the days where we did not reward mediocrity? What happened to the days where if you were on a zero, or if you walked into the office knowing you had nothing for the day, you were mad at yourself? What happened to the times where you were disgusted with yourself because you didn't make mission? What happened to that? What happened? What happened to the accountability of oneself? Not your boss, not your recruiters, but yourself. That's my question. So listen, again, I just, this is week one back on the bag. Um, but I'm excited, right? People keep asking me, why'd you go on a second tour? I'll be honest. The day before, I was kind of nervous. And then all of a sudden, day one, I sat down with a kid. I threw tags with a kid, and the excitement just came back. The love for Marine Corps recruiting duty was there. The interview, let's go. Everything just came back like I did an interview yesterday. And I will tell you, it's invigorating. It's a love that it's an excitement that I have. Um, but it's because I love the Marine Corps. I love what the Marine Corps done for me. I love the people that I've helped. I've loved the success stories that I've heard. I love sharing the Marine rappers' music. I love sharing this person's gym. I love sharing the story of Corporal Don Graves, right? I love sharing all of these things. Leaders are scared to lead. Recruiters must be trained to have a business mentality. Recruiters come in to make the donuts type of mentality these days. No hustle in there. Bro, Master Guns, I'm sorry for calling you bro, but you are 1,000% right. Recruiters come into the office with the, oh, it's time to make donuts. If you were a recruiter and you were not guaranteed a paycheck, everything would change. You would figure it the hell out. If you were told you're not going to be paid on the 15th of this month unless this person crosses the line, you would figure it out. But the fact that you still get paid, the fact that all of these excuses are now given to us, nobody gives a damn. And listen, this is the last thing I'm going to say. This is what I said to a recruiter the other day because the boss asked me, hey, why do you care so much? And the answer was because if somebody didn't come up to me, if Sergeant Tice, if Sergeant Stanley Tice, now retired Gunnery Sergeant Tice, if he did not walk up to me and quick check, and even after I told him no, and even after I told him I would never be a Marine, if he had not been taught by Master Gunnery Sergeant Patriakis, if he did not have the fear of God put into him, he would have never come up to me. When I told him no, he would have never dealt with my disinterest. He would have never packed me out. He would have never set the appointment. He would have never got me to commit. If Master Guns Patriakis never looked at me and said, hey, motherfucker, stop smoking weed, grow the hell up right now. If it wasn't for those two men, I would not be where I am. And guess what? That's what I needed. And that's what these kids in today's society need. They need a correction. They need a reminder that there's people out there who give a damn about them. You have to have a winning mentality. Exactly. Get out of this welfare state of mind. Get out of it. Win. Win. I'm not telling you to lose your family. I'm not telling you not to be there with your kids. I'm not saying any of that. I'm telling you to go to work with the mentality that I am going to win. We are going to win. And when you have that mentality, everything changes. All right. Hey, make sure if you're listening to this, make sure you follow. Make sure I'm going to be doing these weekly. Go over my week. Go over just what trends I'm seeing or what things that I'm dealing with. Because hey, I'm a recruiter all over again, so I got to make it happen, right? And it is my goal to prove that even in today's Marine Corps recruiting duty, we can still make shit happen. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And if I don't, hey, I'm gonna be open with it. Hey, I had a couple of no shows this week. But hey, I got over it, right? We'll follow up with them, we'll figure it all out, and we'll go back at it again. But listen, week 2 starts tomorrow. I'm excited, I'm ready, and we still got the month. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But hey, if you follow the podcast, please make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple iTunes, wherever you can find us. I'm on like 20 different platforms, YouTube as well. Make sure you leave a like, make sure you leave a follow, make sure you leave a review. If you're listening to this right now and you don't follow us on Instagram, make sure you go over there. But hey, listen, I'm doing this because I love the duty. I'm doing this because win, win, win. Welcome back. Thank you, Master Guns. I truly appreciate it. Can't wait to have you on as a retired Master Gunnery Sergeant. Please reach out. Let me know when we can do that. Let me know when we can get dinner. I know you're out here, and I think you're moving back to the area, but please let me know. And I'm out of here.